Police officers deal with all kinds of criminals, but some confessions are so bizarre they defy belief. These are not the scripted confessions from movies, but real-life admissions that leave even seasoned detectives shocked. Some criminals confess out of guilt, others out of desperation, and some for motives that make no logical sense at all. Many officers report hearing confessions involving ghosts, dreams, or even pets influencing the suspect. Each confession shows the strange ways guilt can manifest, forcing truth into the open in unexpected ways. Some confessions are funny, others terrifying, and a few are just plain incomprehensible. They also demonstrate that not all criminals are motivated by greed or fear of punishment. Sometimes, conscience plays a bigger role. Here are 10 of the weirdest confessions ever revealed by police, each more unbelievable than the last. These stories highlight how crime, guilt, and human nature collide in the strangest ways imaginable. Some of these stories will shock you, others will make you laugh. The burglar, who confessed to his cat a burglar, walked into a police station claiming he couldn't live with himself because his cat kept judging him for stealing, insisting every meow reminded him of his crimes. Officers were skeptical until he detailed the burglary with perfect accuracy. He confessed calmly and sincerely, saying the cat had become his conscience and he couldn't ignore it any longer. His story sounded absurd, yet his honesty led to a lighter sentence. The officers later joked it was the first time an animal influenced a confession. He even mentioned that the cat's stare made him lose sleep for nights, which drove him to turn himself in. The case became legendary in the precinct as the feline conscience confession. Police said it was a rare example of guilt manifesting in the strangest form. Officers still tell this story as one of the most unusual confessions in their careers. His feline-inspired honesty left a lasting impression on the detectives involved. The dream confession: a man came into a police station claiming he had killed someone in a dream, but the detectives were shocked to discover he was confessing to a real hit-and-run accident he had suppressed for months. He explained recurring nightmares had jogged his memory, forcing him to admit the truth. Officers confirmed the details, realizing the dream had unlocked memories he could not consciously recall. The confession was so precise it helped solve a case that had been stagnant for weeks. Police said this was one of the strangest examples of guilt manifesting in subconscious ways. Detectives called it a confession delivered by the mind itself. Psychologists studied the case to understand memory suppression and moral responsibility. It was an example of how internal conscience can force truth into action. The man's life changed dramatically after facing the consequences. The detectives remembered this confession as a case where dreams solved a crime. The man who confessed for free, Pizza A, fugitive on the run for months, finally walked into a police station after hearing about a local pizzeria giving free pizza slices to anyone visiting the event, casually admitting he thought they were looking for him. Officers couldn't believe their luck as he laughed and ate several slices before handing over the stolen items. He confessed entirely and peacefully, explaining that the promise of food had convinced him to stop running. The detectives later called it the tastiest arrest of their career. He admitted he wouldn't have surrendered otherwise, which made the case almost comical. This bizarre motivation showed how trivial incentives can override months of fear. Officers laughed for months, recounting how a pizza led to justice. It proved that sometimes minor rewards can lead to major results in law enforcement. The ghost confession: a suspect called police claiming the ghost of a victim haunted him nightly, moving objects and whispering his name, and ultimately confessed to the murder he had hidden for years. Officers initially dismissed it as a delusion, but the details matched a cold case perfectly, shocking the entire precinct. The man said he could not sleep, eat, or think without the apparition reminding him of his crime. His fear of the ghost forced him to finally turn himself in to seek relief from the psychological torment. Detectives later admitted it was the first time a haunting effectively solved a real crime. The man asked to be placed somewhere safe from spirits, showing genuine terror motivated his confession. The case proved that psychological pressure can compel honesty in unimaginable ways. The confession by GPSA. Car thief admitted guilt after his GPS repeatedly redirected him to the local police station every time he tried to escape, convincing him it was a sign from God. Officers were incredulous but documented the confession and retrieved the stolen car. The suspect explained that he believed divine intervention forced him to confess. Detectives called it the first case they had, where a navigation system led to a criminal turning themselves in. Police said it showed how technology can inadvertently guide morality in odd ways. Law enforcement officials used the case to illustrate unusual confession triggers. It remained a favorite anecdote for patrol officers for years. Detectives marveled at how guilt could manipulate belief in signs and fate. The time traveler's confession. A man walked into a police station claiming he was from the future and needed to confess to crimes he hadn't yet committed. But detectives realized he described recent burglaries with precise detail. Initially dismissed as delusional, his knowledge of unsolved crimes proved accurate and helped close 3 cases. Officers said it was one of the strangest encounters in their careers. Detectives described it as a mix of insanity and rare honesty. His story became an unusual headline in local newspapers. Even officers admitted they were left questioning reality after his statements. The confession ultimately solved crimes that might have remained open. The drunk truth. Teller, a man drunkenly confessed to robbing a convenience store while still inside the store, presenting stolen cash to the cashier and laughing at his own audacity. Police later confirmed the robbery, calling it a rare case where intoxication forced complete honesty. The suspect admitted he never intended to surrender but couldn't resist telling the truth in a drunken state. Officers said his behavior was both bizarre and fortunate, as it ended a difficult case quickly. Psychologists explained that intoxication can reduce fear of consequences. The confession resolved a tricky investigation in minutes. The case served as a reminder that human behavior under influence can be unpredictable and revealing. The man who confessed to impress a date. During a first date at a restaurant, a man confessed mid-meal to multiple burglaries, shocking his companion and prompting her to call 911 from the bathroom. Police arrived and took him into custody while he explained his motive as wanting to be honest to impress someone. Officers later laughed about the absurdity of confession for romantic gain. Psychologists noted the confession as an example of misplaced motivation for truth-telling. Detectives said it remains a unique case, highlighting human behavior under social pressure. The man's reasoning baffled everyone but ultimately ensured justice was served. The wrong crime confession. A man walked into a station to confess to a murder, but inadvertently described a car theft instead, confusing officers and ultimately helping solve a separate case. He explained that he had overheard detectives talking and assumed they were referring to him. Police said it was the most ironic confession they had ever taken. Detectives found the confession instrumental in closing unrelated cases. The case illustrated how human perception of responsibility can create unintended consequences. The confession highlighted how misunderstandings can sometimes aid justice in unpredictable ways. Where the criminal who confessed decades later, after more than 40 years, an elderly man walked into a police station and confessed to a crime he had committed in his youth, shocking investigators and reopening a cold case. He explained he could not die without revealing the truth and sought peace for himself and the victim's family. Police respected his courage and said it was one of the most emotional confessions of their careers. Psychologists studied his motivation as an example of moral responsibility late in life. The case inspired officers to consider the long-term psychological impact of crime. His admission solved the mystery and provided healing for many affected by the crime. These confessions show that guilt and conscience can drive people to the most unexpected actions. even when fear or logic would suggest otherwise. From pets and dreams to technology and romance, truth finds bizarre and unusual paths to reveal itself. Police say these moments often teach them more about human behavior than criminal procedure. Some confess out of guilt, others for attention, and a few because they cannot live with their conscience any longer. These stories prove that human psychology can be stranger than any fiction. Confessions can come in the most surprising forms, showing that morality and emotion are unpredictable. Every bizarre confession reminds us that criminals are human and can be influenced by the oddest circumstances. The unpredictability of human behavior ensures that no two confessions are alike. Ultimately, truth finds its way, no matter how strange or unusual the path to justice.